Most people overpay for flights, and honestly, it's not their fault. Airlines are masters of pricing games. So today I'm going to show you 5 free flight hacks I personally use to beat airlines at their own game. No trust fund, no six-figure job, just cheap flight hacks that actually work. And the more of these you know about, the more likely you are to get the best flight deals. Simple as that. So stick around for all 5, hit that like button, and let's dive into my go-to flight search tool. Google Flights. Most travelers will just go to their favorite airline's website and book the first flight they see. But that's kind of like walking into the first store you see at a mall and just paying whatever price they ask. Google Flights is different though. It's a search engine, not a booking site. You can use it to instantly compare flights from hundreds of airlines. Just head to google.com/travel/flights and start by typing in your departure and destination cities and dates. Then you can apply some filters if you want. There's stuff like nonstop only, preferred airlines, or specific times of the day. And once you search there are some really awesome features like the date grid. It helps you see which dates are the cheapest to fly with green highlights for the lowest fares. Often, even shifting a trip by a day or two can lead you to huge savings. Plus, you don't have to limit yourself to just searching from one airport or even one city. You can search for multiple airports at once, which is another great way to lead to quick savings. Now, I'm sure you know this already, but Google Flights isn't the only website out there for searching for flights. Websites like Kayak, Skyscanner, Momondo, and even Kiwi can be useful for finding cheap flights. But Google Flights just has them beat when it comes to quick and easy searches. And another free feature that you'll find on Google Flights will always save you a ton of time and give you the advantage: price alerts. If you already know when and where you want to travel, all you've got to do is go into Google Flights and set a price alert. Of course, assuming you don't like the deal you see already. When prices drop, you'll get an email. It's really as simple as that. Over the years, I've saved thousands of dollars just by booking when that email hits my inbox. And while we're on the topic of free alerts that will help you travel better, don't forget to subscribe to this channel with alerts on. I post new videos every week that go deep into travel hacks, cheap flights, and travel experiences around the world. This month alone, I've shown how I flew Turkish Airlines and British Airways for cheap, how I took a 3-night vacation to Italy for less than a red-eye flight, and how to turn renting a car into something cheap and fun. So hit that subscribe button and let's talk about hack number 2. Destination flexibility. Here's a strategy I love to use when flights to a specific place are just way too expensive. Say you're traveling from North America to Europe. Instead of inputting a specific city like Rome or Paris, try typing in Europe. We are still in Google Flights here, but it will take you to another page known as Google Explore. On the map here, you can see the cheapest places to fly in the region for the dates that you've selected. Say you want to go to Italy, but flights to Rome are just outrageous. Maybe other cities like Milan, Naples, or even a nearby country are much cheaper. And don't worry, I'm not telling you not to go to Rome at all. It's just that once you're in Europe, you can hop around on cheap flights or cheap train tickets very easily. Every year, I use this technique to experience more and pay less for my flights. And it's not just limited to Europe. The same goes for other parts of the world. Flights from Europe to Las Vegas are overpriced. Why not check flights to New York City or LA and then fly to Las Vegas on a cheap domestic flight? But with hack number 3, you can take this kind of flexibility to the next level. Let's flip the script. Instead of changing your destination, change where you depart from. We already know that you can search for multiple departure airports using Google Flights. So, to take a random example, flights from Europe to Asia are often much cheaper from Budapest, Hungary. Just input whatever city you're based in Europe, let's say London for this example, along with Budapest. If flights to where you're headed in Asia are way cheaper from Budapest, I don't know, let's say 300 or 400 euros cheaper, then it could make the most sense to book some flights to and from Budapest to take advantage of a deal like that. But to really get into maximum flexibility means being flexible with both your departure city and your destination. Though, as I learned from one of my previous videos, a lot of people really hate this website. One of the best tools available for this type of search is on kiwi.com. I'm really not sure if they named it after the bird or the fruit. And keep in mind, I'm not telling you to book on Kiwi, I'm just telling you to use it for searching for your flights. Say you want to fly from the United States to Europe, and hypothetically, let's say you're based in Chicago and you really want to go to Paris. Instead of searching for Chicago to Paris, search for North America to Europe. If you're limited to certain dates, select those, but if not, search for any time. This gives you the amazing ability to look through all of the cheapest fares from the US to Europe and then decide if it might make sense to depart from somewhere other than Chicago or arrive to somewhere other than Paris. So say the flights you're looking at from Chicago to Paris are about $600 round trip. But you saw that flights from New York City to Rome are like $250 right now. If hypothetically you booked flights from Chicago to New York and back, and then from Rome to Paris and back, and they cost you less than $350, you'd be saving some money. So spending like 20 minutes searching on Kiwi probably sounds pretty reasonable to most. most. But when you really add up all of the time that it can take to find and book a great flight deal, it can mean many hours, and that's where hack number 4 comes in. These days, there are a bunch of flight deal newsletters that do most of the work for you. In North America, there's Daily Drop Pro. In the UK, it's Jack's Flight Club, and there are plenty of others around the world. The idea is simple. Instead of looking yourself for great flight deals, they email you when they find one. It's literally like having a team of deal hunters in your inbox. But the catch here is that most of these services have free and paid tiers. For example, Daily Drop Pro has 2 different tiers. There's the free version they call Limited, and then the paid version they call Pro, which currently starts at $99 a year. The paid version does get you access to every single deal they find. But for most travelers, I find that the free version is already super useful. I personally do subscribe to a few different subscription services like this, but I only subscribe to the free tier. Mostly because I actually enjoy hunting for flight deals, and finding them is a part of my daily routine already. In fact, before this channel started taking off, I used to do that as my main job. But if you work full-time and you're not a travel deal hunter, or you just don't feel like dealing with searching for flights, a paid subscription could be worth it. I mean, even if you just saved a lot of money once per year as a result of your subscription, it could already pay for itself. But again, I don't personally feel the need to pay for any of these kind of subscription services. And for you, well, I mean, like any subscription service, it's really just up to your needs. By the way, to be really clear, this video is not sponsored by anybody, and I'm not telling you to buy anything. But I definitely do recommend checking out free subscriptions, and I'll drop a link to Daily Drop Pro along with a few other subscription services down in the video description. But regardless of whatever newsletters you're subscribed to, there is one other cheap flight hack that savvy travelers must know about. Instead of searching for round-trip flights, you can very often get a much better deal by searching for multi-stop flights. Say you want to fly from New York City to Japan, but round-trip flights are just thousands of dollars more than you can afford. Maybe you got a price alert or even an email from one of those subscription services telling you that there are really cheap flights from New York City to Seoul, South Korea right now. The cheapest I've seen on that route's about $500. So what if you could fly to South Korea and back from Japan and just take a boat or a cheap flight from South Korea to Japan? Well, often you actually can, and all you need to know how to do is to search for multi-stop flights. Google Flights has a multi-city tool built in. Lots of other websites like Momondo, Kayak, or Skyscanner also support this kind of search. Sometimes you might see these kind of multi-city flights referred to as open jaw flights. I've booked these kind of flights dozens and dozens of times to see an extra place on my trip, and often save quite a bit of money in the process. To go back to our example, the basic idea is that the fare of those cheaper Seoul flights will still make the multi-stop flights from Seoul and back from Tokyo somewhere around halfway between the price for the round-trip flights to Seoul and the round-trip flights to Tokyo. If the original flights to Tokyo were $1,500 round trip and the flights to Seoul were $500 round trip, you might be able to find flights for somewhere around $1,000 for a multi-city itinerary. But I do have another video for you that goes much more in depth on how to leverage multi-stop flights to save thousands of dollars on your next trip. So now that we've gone over 5 flight hacks that people use all the time to save money, give this next video a watch to continue learning about how to get the best flight deals out there. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video.